Okay, wait a minute. Get that. Let me ask you, gang, a couple of questions, all right? Just before we start tonight's show. Who would you rather see in the White House? George Bush or Bess Myers? Who would you rather see as your news anchor, Dan Rather or Kitey Tong? Who would you rather see as your sports anchor, Dick Butkus or Morgana, the kissing bandit, huh? And finally, who would you rather see in a swimsuit commercial, Vanna White or me, huh? See, gang? You see, it's not exploitation, it's just America's choice. So now let's find out what America thinks. Is the American media, myself included, exploiting the female gender, or are we simply choosing the best body, I mean person, all right, for the job? Come on, let's look at some bodies. Now, ladies, we have this gentleman for you here tonight. All ladies in the audience can see this gentleman. Zoom in on that. Zoom in on that. It's a picture of a guy wearing my body. And, you know how they cut off the heads, they put them on the body? That's my body. But that ain't my... No, that's just my body. All right, this is a copy of Playboy magazine here. And in this issue... Oh, God. Let me introduce our folks at home base here first for you. The players, if you will. We have a friend of ours, feminist fighting porn director, Paige Mellish. Paige, good evening to you. We also have Nancy Martin, who is the editor of Playgirl. Nancy, as a matter of fact, she is the editor of this magazine, where she will readily admit they cut off my head, put another guy's head on because it wasn't attractive enough, and used my body. Right? And a picture in here of Nancy. Oh, God, if this was my daughter, I'd thrash her. All right? So let me start with Paige. You're the founder and director of Feminist Fighting Porn. Pornography. A lot of people think all of this stuff is pornography. Let me ask you point blank, and be honest with me, please. Have I ever been exploitative of you?
No.
Let me introduce another player that we have on the scorecard tonight. Folks, a gentleman you've seen on this show many times before. Former employee of Penthouse Magazine. Former employee of Forum Magazine. His name is Phil Nobley. He's a distinguished author. And Philip, now that I rest easy knowing that even the feminists approve, all right, in some way, of my behavior towards women, I'm sure you'd agree with Paige that I don't discriminate against women.
No more.
You wouldn't?
Mm-hmm. No.
You say that simply because that's your bid on the show or something, or that's what you believe?
Well, I think that you have ravaged a few beautiful young women in the first row. Some of
I have
whom...
beautiful young women all through this audience. You only identify the first row as being beautiful? Go ahead. But go ahead, Philip. As usual, dig your own hole.
What I said, only those in the first row have you ravaged. That's all. Of course, there are many beautiful women
I don't see any of them feeling that I ravaged them. Do you feel I ravaged you? Ma'am?
No.
I mean, when I kissed you, was it a polite and proper kiss? No, really. Really. Did I try and hold a conversation with you while I was kissing you? Was my mouth open at any time? No.
But would you like
right.
to do it again?
Yes.
Philip, baby, let me ask you something. Is your main problem that you don't like women?
No, Mark. You know.
All right. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So, Philip, I'll leave you with your own opinion. I want to come back to Nancy. Nancy, I know that you, as the editor of Playgirl magazine, are constantly interacting with the media. Now, how about Phil, Oprah, and the rest of my colleagues? Do they uphold the same feminist ideals that even I do, really?
Well, I think people on TV exploit everybody. I certainly think that on Oprah and Phil and Geraldo, you're going to see male strippers a whole lot more often than you're going to see female strippers. So
is that exploiting women because you see male strippers?
No, what
or
I'm
is that
saying...
maybe just something that the hosts happen to like?
I'm saying that the media exploits everybody, particularly...
Oh, I think you're right. I think the media does exploit everybody. I think the newspapers, the radio, television, exploits. It makes for good television.
Right, precisely.
People are entertained by it. So are you saying that people like to be entertained, or as my friend Paige might say, maybe they only like to be entertained because that's the only way they've been treated all their lives? Maybe they'd like to be given a little respect. This young lady and I, we've never met before. I respect her.
And you'll never meet again.
Pardon me?
And you'll never meet again.
Well, not if my fiancé has anything to say about it, we won't, but I mean...
Yeah.
Or her husband. Her husband.
Yeah.
Well,
Yet
Phil,
another thing-
Phil, really, what is your problem, pal? Another $40 million lawsuit. Last one said I bumped her with my pelvis and that it was awesome.
Hey, is that true? Can we put you in Playgirl?
Pardon me?
Is that true? Can we put you in Playgirl now?
Can you put me in Playgirl?
Sure. If your
Well,
pelvis,
you mean-
if your pelvis is awesome, you know.
My pelvis is. No.
Nancy, now you're exploiting Mort.
Well, but that's what he lives for, isn't it?
You're right. I live for exploitation. That's my life, man. Exploitation. No, really, there would be a sexual revolution in this country if I ever exposed myself.
I think
And I paid a lot of dough not to. All right, now, if men have the power, are women really their instruments? Let's find out when we come back, all right? Phil, you be one of the people who answer that. Come on. You know, we've got a new player. I'd like to introduce him. Loudmouth number 2. Zip it! Loudmouth number 2. Friend of ours, been on the show before, Mel Fight, National Center for Men. But I want to come back to my friend Paige, all right? Paige, wouldn't you agree that with the feminist movement's progress in the past 2 decades, that women have, in many instances, equal justice and power in the workforce?
They're moving into the workforce. Where we're losing ground is violence against women. And the Mies Commission on Pornography, a government commission which concluded in 1986, founded that pornography has a causal link to violence against women, as well as a link to discrimination and non-equality of women.
When you talk about violence against women, every day you meet women who are going through violence. My girlfriend was on the subway about 2 days ago. She sat down. She was sitting... No one on the subway train, on the car with her. One guy gets on. She said she looked at him, and she got goose pimples up her. She just knew she was looking at death. Guy took the seat right next to her. She moved. Guy moved, took the seat next to her again. And she made a remark about how it was cold. She was nervous. And he looked at her and he said, death is cold. Now, you got some real wackos who think that women are easy prey, and that's what you go after. How do you get out of that syndrome that we're in, of making women victims?
We've got to stop the pornography industry.
Well, what's pornography?
Pornography is images of women being degraded, violated.
Is it degrading to have just a plain nude picture of a beautiful body such as this young lady's?
Well, in the case of women, it is. It's not degrading as much as objectification.
Well, what about this picture of my body here? Is that degrading?
Well, you see, the thing is that your status in life is not that of a piece of meat.
Oh, it is.
You're not being harassed as you...
I've had a lot of people tell me I was nothing but a piece of meat.
It's hardly comparable.
Meat after it's digested.
Men don't have a 1 in 2 chance of being beaten, according to the FBI. A 1 in 3 chance of being raped.
The FBI says that men are twice as likely to be abused and 3 times more likely to be murdered. She's lying. She's lying.
Don't silence me. Women have been censored for a long time, and pornography censors women.
Wait a second. Now, Mel, you're not going to tell me that men get abused more than women.
I'm telling you what the FBI and the Justice Department says.
Maybe they get abused more, man.
The FBI says that men are twice as likely to be abused, 3 times more likely to be murdered, and the Justice Department says the same thing.
About men?
About men more likely to be victims of violent assault.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's check this out for a second. Are men assaulted by other men?
What difference does it make
Well,
if they're
let me ask you a
victims?
question.
By men mostly, and also by women. Also by women, but by gangs of men. But men
are
are more likely
women
to be
mostly
victimized.
assaulted by men or by women?
I would say that men more likely commit violence. So does that mean that if a man is victimized by violence, that he hurts any less, that he suffers any less,
Don't
and he
shake
bleeds
in
any
front of
less?
me. It makes me nervous.
Now, why? You leave an impression that men are victimized and they're not, and that men are more likely to be victims than women. I just want to set the record straight. I can't stand the lies anymore, that's all.
I don't...
You know, see, the problem is that this is what...
Let me ask Phil. Sometimes he has a semblance of intelligence. Men more likely to be victims in your mind than women are?
No, absolutely not. The Page is right. Women, of course, are victimized more because they're the weaker sex. But Page...
You haven't met my girlfriend, man.
Yeah.
6 foot tall, she can take your jaw.
But we cannot mention the Mies Commission on national television without exposing them for what they were. I mean, I wrote a book on the Mies Commission.
How many copies you sell?
No, we can't
Thousands.
mention the Mies Commission
No,
on
no,
national
thousands.
television
Hundreds?
because national television has consistently censored the findings.
The Mies
Why
Commission
doesn't the
says-
American public know
Right.
that
I'll
a
tell you.
government commission founded that pornography has a causal link to violence against women?
In fact, they
because the
did.
press is owned and operated by men. Because the press...
And because it's owned and operated by people who are involved in pornography at all
Last
times.
year-
Absolutely. CBS is
No.
involved in pornography. They're
Last
now
year,
distributing
Geraldo
the
Rivera
Playboy
did a
channel.
special on how women were abused by pornographers. He ain't never going to do a special about how men are abused. The New York Times has
might
never
do a
in its
special
history
on how
put
they're
a men's
abused by
rights piece on
chairs.
the top-ed page. What's that?
You might do a special on how men are abused by chairs.
Yeah. So the point is that Paige and her ideas have access to the talk shows. This idea that the media exploits women, you see, this proves a point that I've known for a number of years. Feminism is a disease that destroys the mind. They think exactly the reverse of what's true.
Well, in a way,
Anyone who
that's
sees
true,
the
because
daytime
pornography
television
is a
talk shows
backlash to feminism.
knows that these
Insecure
shows exploit...
men are threatened by the concept of women's equality, and that's why you see degradation so much in pornography.
I think the National Organization
also
for
in
Women
women's
has
let me
a branch
introduce-
office in the Oprah Winfrey
Let me just
studio.
introduce... Wait a second. Let me introduce, please, if you will, a young lady who has joined us at home base, Andrea Lynn, a former news anchor. Andrea, to you, do you think it's possible for a woman to work side by side with a man during the day and be the sensually sensitive animal a man wants and needs at night?
Oh, sure. First of all, before I answer that, may I say Las Vegas says, come on down and see them. They love you there, and they'd love to see you in town.
Thanks, Andrea.
To
Give
answer
me
your
some
question,
money to gamble with?
well, I'm sure the casinos would be happy to
Okay, you
accommodate
worked side by side with
Sure.
men. Have you become sexually involved with any man you've ever worked with? Come on, lay it out straight.
Oh, I have to think, though. Let me answer the first question first.
Yeah, if you have to think, that means she did if she wasn't good.
I think that most professionals who are capable, dynamic, didactic, decisive women during the day dearly, really want to, in the night, with their particular mate or partner, they really want to not be that way. They want to be sensual and warm and all the good things that a woman can... Indeed.
I mean, can you imagine making love to Dan Rather?
The point is that men who have perceived her during the day as being very strong and dynamic cannot then make that transition at night into allowing her femininity. I find that difficult, that transition.
All the polls in the last few years, 92, 96% of women in this country are reporting sexual harassment on the job. So men are not perceiving her as strong or the way you just described it. They're perceiving her as a sex object, and that's the
your
problem with
argument-
pornography.
Paige,
It portrays women consistently, and the magazine that you used to work for, Penthouse, is really big on this.
Paige,
They
your
consistently
problem is that
portray
you
and advocate
never shut up, first of
sexual
all.
harassment. Philip, you've silenced a lot of women with with your propaganda of terrorism.
This is the
By
man.
portraying
This
them as
is the man who will
second-class
exploit anything, Paige. He wrote a huge article in Forum magazine called "The Penis Problem" or something. What was it?
Well, you should know.
And why do you have that standing up straight?
Paige is, the reason that Paige is such a bore on the subject of sex is because she is arguing...
Sex. We're talking about pornography. Pornography is
Same
not
thing.
sex.
Oh, no, indeed. For us, it
Now,
is.
the magazine you work for, Phil,
No,
was
Paige,
banned
please
at the border
shut
of
up, Paige,
Canada
please.
for sadomasochistic content. Oh, that was your men's voices telling me to
Paige.
shut up.
Your problem is you're arguing against nature and biology, and so you
Is it
make no...
nature
Wait a
to
minute,
degrade and
interrupt me
violate
again,
women,
Paige?
Philip? That's
Are you gonna
your
interrupt
problem.
me again? Your problem is you don't see the universe the way most people do. Even Gloria Steinem, your sister, says erotica is fine. Pornography, as she defines it, is okay. You don't
Wait
like...
a second. She just defined it in a very correct way, I thought. Abuse of a woman or a man.
Oh, that's her definition. What she
I would
doesn't
say
like is
insertion.
pornographic.
Let me ask
Wait,
you...
no, I want to make a
Philip,
statement.
Is
Gloria
Tin House
Steinem...
erotica?
Pardon?
Is Tin House erotica?
To some people, not
Well,
to you, Paige.
no, to
What
men,
is erotica
maybe.
to you?
Erotica
Tell us what
would be
arouses
sex
you.
between two
Paige,
people.
please shut
Tin
up.
House is not pictures of people having
Let me
sex.
make a point.
It's
Let me-
pictures of
Paige,
women with
Wait a
their
second.
legs
Wait a
spread.
second, Zibba. I don't want to lose my voice
I don't mean to be
tonight.
impolite,
I don't want to
but
lose
you
my
never
voice.
shut
I'm
up.
speaking before the pornographers of America tomorrow, and I wanted to ask Andrea. I asked you a second question, Andrea, and that was, be honest with us, all right?
hoping you'd forget. I didn't.
really try to have this as an honest show, all right?
Yes.
And I like an honest answer, and I get really bent out of shape when I don't get one. Just understand that my producers try to investigate each guest that we have on. And I'll ask you the question again.
Okay.
During your career as a news anchor,
Yes.
have you ever had a sexual encounter with a co-anchor that you have worked with?
Wasn't a co-anchor, but the answer to the question is yes.
All right, now, question? All right. All right. It's okay. No, that's all right. Bless you, ma'am. You are a truthful person, and that's what America's been missing. While we hear about the press nowadays, they're not doing a job, all right? People like you are. Did you find that you could roll into your femininity again, and that man would accept you as a feminine person, or did he accept you still as the hard, attacking anchor person?
Mostly the latter. It was difficult for him to perceive me in that role. And it was a long transition time in terms of hours in an evening to try and come down. And then whenever I appeared on a
Long
show...
time during the evening?
Whenever I appeared on a show other than my own, perhaps the comment would be, gee, you came on too strong. And I'd say, well, gee, that's just professionalism. But the man's perception of it was, don't be that strong. Which
In other words, were you finding a man that did not like an aggressive woman?
Well, see, I don't consider myself an aggressive female. I consider myself a decisive female, and I take
right.
issue with the difference.
Okay.
Aggressive has a very negative, pejorative
Nancy
connotation.
Martin, let me go to you. All right? Nancy, you were an executive of a magazine, a very successful magazine, Playgirl, all right, which I will be appearing in a triple fold-out. And I'm supposed to take the high road with this show. I just paid $3 for the tunnel on that one. Question. In your role as the editor of this magazine, and in your role as a very attractive young model, have you ever had a sexual encounter with any of the people who have appeared in your magazine? And did they accept you as a feminine person or as an aggressive, driving individual?
The answer to the first question is no. But the answer to the I don't have a couch in my office. But the answer to the
You have a
second...
straight... You have a...
Wait a second.
Come on, guys. You have a straight back chair without arms.
No, my chair's on. But I have to say that the men who I have worked with in the magazine, they accept me as an executive, making decisions that affect their future. But they also accept me as a feminine woman. And I don't see any contradiction between those roles. And I have to
do you
differ
find a
with Andrea
contradiction in
there.
what you've heard from these women?
Well, I think, aren't you talking about subordinates?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I think that's the reason that you've found what you found is I don't think that they're going to start sexually harassing their boss on the job. All I can say is that for about the last 5 years, in the 90 percentile, women of this nation are reporting sexual harassment on the job.
And they're all telling the truth.
But
They're
what is
all
sexual?
telling the truth.
Paige,
Not
what
a
is
single one of
sexual?
those accusations
Wait a
is
second,
false,
Mel.
right?
What is
Right.
sexual harassment in your mind?
Well, it's
what
been
is,
defined
I walk
by the
up to
Supreme
Nancy,
Court.
all right? Nancy and I work together. I walk up to Nancy and I say, "You are absolutely gorgeous."
And I say, thank you. Have a nice
I mean,
day.
is that sexual harassment?
According to the Supreme Court, it would be.
Then you must have a bunch of weirdos on the
Well,
Supreme
I'll
Court.
tell you, part of the reason is because you touched her shoulder at the same time that you were saying it. The Supreme Court roughly defines it as unwelcome sexual advances and or with hostile
All right,
overtones.
now, my answer to that would be, if I went like this and she said, "Please get your hand off me," and I didn't take it off, then it's a sexual advancement. It's unwelcome, right? Is there a line there? Is there a fine line? And aren't
Well,
we really...
the problem is that usually the women are subordinate to the males in the corporate or work structure. And it's a little harder to say to your boss or to someone who's higher up in the hierarchy, you know, get your hand off of me.
No, it isn't. Not
A
if
lot
you have
of
any guts, ladies. Say it to the slime ball. He won't fire you because he's chicken if he has to go after you. He can't go after his girlfriend or his wife. Next question. Are pretty women powerful women? Stay with us. Get scorecards out at home. We got some one new person, all right, at home base with us. We have Joan Robbie, who is Robbie, born-again Christian, and we have on the telephone with us a young lady by the name of Diane Lewis, whose organization is called Equal to the Challenge. Diane.
Hi, Morris.
How are you, sweetheart? You know, of course, I've had a guest on my show who claims to have a score to settle with me. Are you
Well,
there,
I've been on your show twice, Mort, and I also am in your viewing audience. I honestly believe that your type of show, and especially Oprah's, really exploit women. But what I don't get on your show, Mort, is you walk in and you kiss a very young, pretty girl who never talks. Then you have women on the show that represent, for instance, I'm a born-again Christian. I did the nudist show with you. But I think I conducted myself pretty good. But you have women on the show that wear, like, paste tiaras and wands and try and demon-possess. That gives the whole woman born-again Christian a bad rap. It's bad enough we have Baker and Swagger. Now we have this woman with a wand and a tiara. Also, you have people like Angelina. I did a show with her. She wants women all over the United States in the marketplace to have a day where they strike. I told her on this on another show, if it doesn't work for the Italian Railroad to strike, why would it work for women? Women in the marketplace, we work hard out there. We come home, we have to cook dinner for kids. We spend our weekends running errands. Why take the dumbest of us? Why not take the best of us? Now, I heard part of your show, and you got a lady from Playgirl magazine called Nancy. She
Nancy
sounds
Morton.
very bright.
She's what?
She sounds very bright.
She is very bright.
But you have a lot of dummies on your show. And, you know, women see themselves a lot by what they see on television.
A lot of dummies on my show?
Yeah, a lot of dummies on
Name
your
some
show.
of the dumb women I've had.
I'm sorry?
Name some of the dumb women I've had on the show. Gloria
Well,
Allred?
like Joan.
Joan
flies
Robbie?
around
Hi,
with
Diane.
a gear on and tries to take demons out of your other guests.
That's right, Diane. I'll do
Well,
it
you
every
know,
time.
Us born-again Christians, we're not like that. We have to be Christ-like. Christ didn't act stupid like that.
You know, Diane, you know what Jesus did? He went into the temple when they were playing bingo or whatever they're doing, buying and selling in the Lord's house. Diane, you know what he did?
They were money lenders.
He said...
But in the scriptures,
All
they
right,
were
money
not playing
lenders.
bingo.
Diane, let me talk now.
Exactly proves my
Diane,
point.
Can I talk,
listen
Diane?
for a second, sweetheart, at home.
Diane,
You're beautiful.
Jesus was a very peace-loving person, but he could get angry. He said, "You vipers, get out of my house." And you,
Okay, yeah,
you know,
okay,
you
fine.
know,
Now watch the Jimmy Baker. I hear... Well, let me tell you something. I hear the talk. I want to ask you about Andrea. Go ahead. Diane, tell me about Andrea.
Well, I was on a talk show with Andrea. First of all, the feminist movement is a movement of women who are for abortion. They're for hating men. They blame men for their trouble. Let's look into ourselves. I became a very successful entrepreneur, and I have never blamed any man for any of my failures. I've learned from my failures. But she thinks that women should strike. Ask her about
Strike.
it,
What
Mort.
kind of a strike? You think women should strike too? What kind of a strike, Andrea? No sex?
Wait a minute,
No sex?
wait. Miss
You
Lewis
can take
is
that away from men, but you
way
can't cut off their hands.
Miss Lewis is operating on an intellectual, or in an intellectual vacuum, let me say that. So, no, nothing further.
Why are you for a strike?
Andrea, let me just say something. When they introduced you, they said former news staff. I own 3 companies. I'm an entrepreneur, and all of my companies...
Bravo, Diane. Let's find out. Let's find... No, that's wonderful.
Maud, you asked for a
Well, you've been-
stupid woman on your show?
I have
I'll
not
tell you a
in the
stupid
vacuum.
woman.
Who's stupid woman?
Lisa Sliwa.
Not stupid at all, pal.
She acted...
Not stupid at all.
One of the lowest moments on your show.
in your magazine, so she can't be too smart.
Paige, while I have you here, I want to apologize for asking you to shut up. It was impolite, but...
Since you've been censoring women through fear and
Right,
second-class
I apologize, but
citizenship
let
all
me get
these
back to
years.
this point. Lisa Sliwa, in the
She's not
lowest...
here to defend herself. If she was
She
here...
couldn't.
The hell she can't, pal.
On the lowest
she can defend
moment of
herself
your
in any
show,
way
Maud.
because she's out doing something you wouldn't do. She's trying to protect people, and she doesn't have a gun,
Yeah,
all right?
she did
has
something
her
that I
mouth.
wouldn't do.
What'd she do?
She sat on your face
She did not sit in my
on
face.
this show.
She did not sit on my face. She did not sit on my face.
It was a
She
reasonable
demonstrated-
facsimile.
She demonstrated she was about 2 feet from my face, all right?
Right.
She demonstrated how the Levin girl was strangled, all right? That was the
Now,
demonstration.
did we need Lisa Sliwa to demonstrate?
Mary and I will demonstrate this
violence,
again.
so
right
he
now.
saw it as sex.
No,
Nancy,
I saw it
I'm gonna
as
ask-
vulgar.
Forget Mary, I'm going to have Nancy demonstrate this for us in the next segment. You stand by. We'll show you a reenactment of that time. I'm awfully sorry you did not see that reenactment of the Jennifer Levin murder that Nancy Martin and I did. We did that during commercial break. We'll try and show it later on. In the meantime, Philip, Joan, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
You had a comment,
Yeah.
I should say, you wanted to make about exploitation of women. Now, can you do that without quoting
Scripture. Okay, I won't
Matthew,
preach. I
Mark,
won't
Luke,
preach.
and
Okay.
John,
Okay.
Ezekiel?
All right, I won't preach
No, I
tonight.
love them all, but man,
All right, Mort.
their ratings are bad.
Well, I was asked a question before I came on the show. Does Morton Downey exploit women? And I have a comment to make about that.
All right.
I do not believe you do exploit women. I do not. I do not. I am not trying to buy any friendship here. I really believe
Good,
that.
I'm glad because you're right.
Now, Mort,
Mort, can I make a comment on that?
No, Diane,
I thought you said-
Diane, pull it.
Mort, I do not believe. First of all, the public wants you to come in and kiss a couple young girls on the front row. I know that. And the producers know that works, you know. But I
That's
do
not why I
believe...
do it. I do it because I happen to like it. I don't want to
Yeah,
kiss
I
any of the young
know.
guys.
Can I be really frank with you? I love you. You know that.
Yeah, okay.
I think Morton
but
Downey
Mort,
is
I
more
really
abusive to
believe
the men that
that
are on the
you
show
are-
than the women.
I believe,
I mean, let's-
Mort. All right, Mel,
let's
it's my
talk- no.
turn. It's my turn, Mel.
No,
I love you.
Say what you have to say.
I believe, Mort, in all honesty, that you are speaking for real, true love and acceptance. And I'm not just going to moralize here.
No,
I believe
please
you
don't,
are.
because I,
and I don't believe
my-
you're taking advantage of women. I don't believe it, because you certainly are doing it in front of everybody, and you certainly wouldn't do that if you're taking advantage
Well,
of
that means
women.
I'm an exhibitionist. I mean,
Yeah, right.
so-
I think you're a closet feminist. You know, you take the side of the women more often than you take the side of the
Yeah,
men.
man, because I happen to
on
like
the
and
show,
respect
on the show,
women.
at least
I happen not to be afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women, pal. I'm not afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women.
The way you deal with men on the show show is it's nose-to-nose confrontation with a lot of spitting. That's your style. With women, you flirt with them. You flirt with attractive women, but when a men's rights activist comes on the show, you're severely critical.
When a
You
men's
exploit
rights activist wearing a skirt and a
You
jean.
know what I'm wearing the skirt for. I'm making a point with the skirt, and in the show when I wore the skirt, you supported it. Now you're being a hypocrite. Now you're criticizing what you supported.
I say you have every right to wear your skirt, Precious. Every right.
Mel wants the same rights as everyone else, Mort.
What?
He wants the same rights women
And he
have.
should
That's
have.
all, nothing
Women
more.
can wear pants, Mel can wear a skirt.
I want to make
Women
a
can wear
comment
shorts.
I want to make a
women
comment
don't.
about the talk shows. We're talking about the talk show host. The problem that the feminists have with the talk shows now, I think, is that finally men's rights activists are getting on the air. The producers are getting on, and the feminists are losing. We're kicking their asses, and they don't like it. They want to go back to a time when they were treated with kid gloves, and they got special privileges. We're winning, and they don't like it, and that's the problem that they have with the talk shows.
You know why you're never going to be equal with women, Mel?
You never like them, yeah!
No. Women, I believe, are equal with men. Men, I believe, are equal with women. But you have a problem with women, man. You got bad breath.
You should run for president of the National Organization for Women. You might win. You might win.
Nobly. Oh, noble one, you wanted to say something. Say it.
As your most promiscuous guest and harshest critic, I want to say that I think that your show is good, bad, and ugly. But the good...
You're the ugly part.
Mort, I think that that Phil and Oprah and Geraldo and Sally are passé. I think when you came onto the scene about a year and a half ago, you were a kind of working class talk show host.
What's wrong with the working class?
I think that you have bumped the genre up.
No, Morton Downey doesn't single women out for abuse.
I'm not quite... Harry, you want to say something?
Yo, I just want to say this. Yo, I've been watching the Morton Downey show since it started. And you little... You know what I'm saying? I love this show. I watch this show every day. Me and my boys.
All right, let this gentleman
Something more. They compare you with Oprah and Phil Donahue. These guys are wimps. They're afraid to get their point across. If they got somebody in a hot seat to say something, you pour it on, you put them on the spot. They're afraid because of the ratings, they don't want to say. You're all right, you're on the ball. This guy, I don't know what he's talking about. Thank God for TV and thank God for you because you speak on behalf of people who are wimps. They can't say it.
Hey, when we come back, we'll not only talk to this audience here, all right? But we're also going to talk to the home audience tonight, so stay with us. I thought we'd, in this segment, as we go to our audience, we'd also look into the mailbag, some of the, what was that D. Martin thing? Ladders, we got ladders, we got... Well, just to show you, we're not afraid of the negative stuff. CBS should have more sense than to put anyone like you on the air. Such trash doesn't belong on TV. This comes from Gene McWilliams, Garden City, Michigan. How are you, Gene? That's Gene's letter. Another one, another letter. This is, what does this say? Your friend. All right, good, a nice one. I don't know if you will like this idea, but if you perhaps, to mention on the air, marijuana were legalized and sold in liquor stores at $25 a pack, the dividends could be portioned out to a number of organizations, including drug rehab, your friend Kirk Storn. Sell dope legally and use the money for rehab. Okay, Doug, baby? Kirk, right? Kirk, nice idea, Kirk. Kirk, of course, is sitting at home watching this show right now with a joint in his hand. Kirk, let's go to this gentleman right here.
I got two things to say, Mort.
One, the women in America have every right to do anything they want, and guys in skirts should not be allowed on the streets.
Yeah, Mel, you have an answer for that. Mel has a rightful answer for that.
No, the point is, I'll stop wearing the skirt when women stop wearing pants. The skirt is my statement about men's equal rights. It's a strong militant statement for equality.
No.
Hey, if women want to go to school and learn...
Wait a minute. For wearing her pants. Come over here and criticize Paige for wearing her pants.
She can wear anything she wants.
But you don't like me in skirts. You don't like me in skirts, but you're willing to accept Paige in a pair of pants. Is that it? You're willing to accept Paige in a pair of pants?
I don't like you in skirts.
But you like Paige in pants. You're a sexist then. And that guy is a sexist too. I'm making a point about real equality. If your audience doesn't like it, there are many men who understand this point. When women have...
You got a girdle on?
No. Women have privilege. Women have special privilege in life, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore, and that's what the skirt says.
Wait a second, enough is enough. Let me get the...
I've already made the point. These guys are sexist, and everybody at home can see it. Your hypocrisy is plain as day.
Women can wear anything they want to wear. It's a free country, pal. They go to school to learn, they can do anything they want.
Yeah, but he goes to school to learn, so why can't he do anything he wants?
Hey. You said that I shouldn't be allowed on the street in a skirt, and you have no objection to Paige's pants.
That's why guys in skirts get beat up, pal.
Nobody's ever beaten me up. Nobody's going to beat me up. But why are you being so sexist? I want to know why you're sexist.
Guys, not be on the streets in skirts. That's why guys like you get beat up. Where I come from, guys like you get beat up.
Let me hear this man.
I watch the show every night. I just wanted to say, just because you watch something on TV or anything about women, doesn't mean I'm going to go out and or do anything. I think I have enough brains, and women have enough brains, that you don't have to do things like that, and I just have a lot of respect for women, and it doesn't matter.
Quick, Shorty.
All right, I think what this young man is saying, where is he? The one the second.
Yeah, go ahead, say it.
Okay, what he's saying is men would like to see a few ladies that look and act like ladies once in a while, instead of always in competition with men. I'm independent, and I wear dresses, and I wear the pants sometimes too. But men do like ladies to be ladies at times.
Okay, we're here to talk about more. So, more, can I quote
No,
you
I'm not
again?
here to talk about me.
No,
we're here to
that's why
talk
we're
about
here,
the
to see
people,
whether you
man.
exploit.
I'm not the issue.
You are the issue.
No,
Mort.
wrong.
A few
Wrong.
months ago, you said on your show, Mort, that as soon as your act reached 25% shtick, that you would retire.
Right.
Do you think maybe you've come close? You admitted that you were at 10% a few months ago.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you've notched up a little bit?
No, he's only beginning.
No, wait a second.
He's
Let me
only
answer.
beginning.
Let me answer. Yeah, I use some shtick once in a while. Damn right. If I wasn't using shtick, why would I have you on? Huh? Why? Why would I have Mel on? All right? Why would I have Paige on? Huh?
I'm talking about you.
No, but that's part of the shtick, man, is having weirdos. Huh? You're a weirdo.
Well, I didn't think we'd get personal. But you think you're close to 25%, more nearing retirement?
Yeah, I'm getting closer.
Well, will you let us know when that happens?
No, I'll just walk off a stupid show.
Okay.
When I have to be a phony like the rest of you in the media, I'm gone, baby. Gone. Go ahead. Come on.
Mort, I just answered you calling me a weirdo. I represent, according to a Time poll that was published and conducted in July of '86, 72% of the American populace wants the government crackdown on porn. I'm representing that 72%.
I'm part of the 72% with you,
And
all right?
according to the
Now let me
same
hear
poll-
this
I don't know
show.
why you hire this lady. You should just get a textbook with Supreme Court, because you don't say anything in your opinion. Everything Supreme Court 1971. When are you going to talk? You're an idiot.
All right, now go ahead,
You've
sir.
got a lot of guts, Mel, and we're really proud of you. It's just insecure men get very frightened when they see you like that, but you've got more guts than any of the so-called macho guys in the audience.
Hey! Get this guy over here. Get him over here.
Not go that far.
No, why don't you guys date or something? I mean, why don't you guys go hold hands and date? Stay in the same loudmouth. Come on, stay in the same loudmouth. This is the country. Show that you're macho and hug. Show that you're macho and hug.
No. See, you're proving the point. Your show abuses men, and that's what you're doing now. The more you do it, the more you prove my point. You exploit men, you abuse men's rights activists. You're the friend of
Here's your problem.
Destroy the National Organization for Women.
I despise the National Organization of Women.
You act like a feminist, talk like a feminist, and behave like a feminist.
Listen,
you're a
pig
feminist.
face.
You're a feminist.
Why don't you have enough guts if you're not afraid of looking a little weird? If you like this guy, why are you afraid to hug?
I shook his hand.
Why are you afraid to hug?
Because when I shake his hand, I can look in his eyes.
Right, exactly. Good for you.
Okay.
In other words, men shouldn't be able to be afraid to show affection. Either male, you are. I think you're afraid to show affection for women, and I think that's why you wear your skirt. We'll be right back. All right, you know, one person who... Here's another letter from James Capo, Troy, New Hampshire. Jim, you're home watching this one. I admire your tactics, your attitude, and your ability to obtain information. Styles I see you use are close to the ones I use daily. From watching your shows, I think it's fair to say Morton Downey Jr. is a very caring individual, has a heart of gold, would help anyone anytime if possible. P.S. Send me $50 to get out of jail. Good. Now, I want to go to this second gentleman right here, sir.
Yes, I'd like to take this question back to Mel. Mel, you're for the National Council of Men, but yet you wear a skirt and you... I don't understand that. And you have long hair.
The skirt is a statement about my belief that men should have equal rights. Women can wear skirts, men can't. That means that women have privilege in life in a lot of other areas.
But I don't see women going around wearing men's clothes.
What's that?
I don't see women going around wearing
Paige
men's
is wearing
clothes.
men's clothes. She's got a pair of pants on.
Men's clothes.
Are those men's clothes?
What makes these men's clothes now?
If you're for a National Council of Men, I feel that...
National Center for Men.
I buy them in a women's
you should wear
store,
men's clothes.
I am wearing men's clothes. I'm wearing a man's skirt. It's a man's garment. It wouldn't fit a woman. It would not fit a woman.
every guy in Scotland wears a kilt. You know, he's not weird. And you got to remember back in the early days in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth century, men wore skirts which they call cassocks.
All right, you can dress like that, fine. But I don't understand
Stick up for
your
you
point.
now, huh?
Your point.
The last time.
What you're making, your point. I don't understand the point that you're making.
Point. The skirt is a statement about my belief in equality. That's all. That's simple.
This gentleman right here. Go ahead.
I don't understand, like, what you're trying to prove. All you're trying to say is you're different. Why do you want to show that
I'm
you're
going to
different?
say it over and over again. It's a statement about my belief in men's rights and equality. I'm a men's rights activist. The skirt is a visual statement.
Respectively. Look at you over here.
Nancy, have you seen anything? Have you seen anything on this program tonight that makes you believe in any way, shape, or form that women aren't advancing rapidly towards equality in all areas? When we talk about men controlling the media, that's really not true. A number of jobs, key jobs in the media now, women have many.
Yeah, I think that people saying that men control the media is the same as the very offensive statement that Jews control the media and therefore we should beat up on Jewish people.
Well,
or that, no, I think that there are a lot of women...
It doesn't matter what you think. There was no woman's name in the editor's box of the New York Times, New York Post, New York Daily News, or Newsday until 3 months ago.
Never published a men's rights piece on op-ed page.
Now there's one woman's name in there, in the Post.
Charlotte Curtis was on the editorial board of the New York Times for years.
The founder of the
Post was a woman.
Owned by a woman is Newsweek, and she inherited it from her husband. Men own and operate the press.
No, there are more women in the media than in any other
pornography
business.
has been consistently censored by the press, except for one person in this nation, and that's Morton Downey. He's
Publishing industry is riddled with feminist censorship. It's poisoned.
Media source in this nation.
And the issue page. Did you ever think about that?
Are you
exploiting the issue of pornography?
On the porn industry.
I think we could go on with this show as long as we want to do. You guys want to get together and pose for a centerfold there? I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Good night, everybody!